My name is Howie, and I'm going to demonstrate this brand new game called Tall Tales. Game is very simple. All you do is reach into a bag, grab 8 figures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you begin to tell a story. The story can be on anything you want. The only rule is you got to use every single element. Once upon a time, there was a little dragon who lived up on top of the high purple peaks. It was very cold. He really wanted to start a fire, but unfortunately he had no matches. So he sat in coldness for weeks and weeks and weeks on end until one day a little boy came along, and he had with him a treasure chest and said, whatever you do not open that treasure chest under any circumstances, because it holds the secret of fire. Well, of course the dragon was cold. Why would I not want fire? Well, he opened it up, and suddenly out came a fire-fast pitch ball right into the face. That's not the kind of fire he went, and he cried and cried and cried, and he sucked his baby bottle, and that was the end of the little dragon. The end.
Okay, there's something wrong with that story, because the dragon should have already had fire already in him.
That's true, actually. That's actually true, unless he was an ice dragon.
He's an
ice dragon. Touche!
Yeah, there you go. This is great.
So there's 5 different ways to play. Again, 5 different ways to play. You can grab 8 different figures. I can play with other people. We can play each person continues the story, or you could add the elements of a random environment card, which you can incorporate into your story. The nice thing about it is completely non-competitive, can be taken anywhere on the go, and it's the kind of games that young and old can play together, which is always very, very nice. And one of the other things, even the youngest can even have the challenge parent modes and say, Mommy, please tell me a story. And that's Tall Tales, the game of infinite imagination.
So how did Tall Tales come about?
Well, I have a daughter who loves to tell stories and loves me telling stories. Every night before bed, she would give me a topic and I'd have to come up with a story. And some of the stories were hysterical. So we thought it'd be really, really fun to have a game that kind of challenged and fostered that imagination. So there are story games out there, but we found that they're very flat and they don't have a lot of playability and replayability. So we wanted something that really kind of fostered the different kinds of elements that people want, like in 3-dimensional figures. So we started about 2 years ago developing a product called the Tall Tales, which you see today. We wanted things that had a game that had lots of different ways to play, lots of different elements that you could put into. We wanted something that adults and kids could play together. And as you can see, the nice thing is, it's pretty easy. Just pull some figures out, don't have to worry about who wins or loses, just tell a story and move past the next person. And of course, who doesn't love a good story?
Right, now how did you come up with the different figures for the game?
We actually created about 100 different figures, and then through playtesting we decided on which figures would play well with each other, so we kind of had a different amount of people versus things versus places, and even with the environment cards, we wanted different elements for boys, girls, people who like creepy things, people who like cute things. So really, if the game of infinite storytelling, if it's all about imagination, we wanted items that really could foster the full extent of imagination.
All right, well, go ahead and try a Tall Tale together, and I'll try and just focus on the bottom here.
So one of my favorite ways is that each of us grab a little small handful, and I'm going to add
What, about 8 pieces, or?
Yeah, about 8. Fine, that's good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, exactly 8.
And I'll be. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do 2 elements, you do 2 elements. But it could be anything you want, but I just like 2. So once upon a time, there was a little baby who lived in the inner workings of the dark, dark forest.
But he liked cake, and he was best friends with the cow.
Now, the thing about being best friends with a cow is you really don't have many friends. So what you really do is you just end up taking a lot of selfies of each other and giving to each other. You want to take a picture of the cow, and the cow's turn to take a picture of the selfie with you. And really what happens is, but pretty soon, eventually they get so tiresome, they end up just having to stop, please, stop.
Yeah, but that's red light, green light. So one day a little boy was walking down in the forest and he met the cow and the boy.
Hooray, a new friend.
And then they started playing baseball.
So they played baseball, and unfortunately, they got really, really hungry. But the problem with being a little boy and a little baby, you can't even feed yourself a loaf of bread. So they said, you want to come over to my house? And maybe I'll ask my mommy if maybe you could have some bread with us.
All right, and so they went to the house where the boy found out that he had a unicorn, the other kid had a unicorn, and so the cow and the unicorn got along really great and started looking at ice.
But unfortunately the ice it was a magical ice, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until finally it filled the entire house up and covered the entire driveway, freezing their car in side tracks. So now the car could never move.
So then they trekked all the way to the gas station to try and get some help for like a mechanic, to try and find a mechanic. But all they can find was someone that can fix boats.
So unfortunately, our little adventuring boy and his new friend and his Selfie the cow
And the unicorn.
and the pet unicorn decided that the only thing to do, if you can't fight them, join them. And they decided to live on top of an ice mountain for the rest of their life. The end.
The end, yay!
Game of infinite imagination, Dante.
Maybe we should also do one with the...
Oh, the diamond parts. Oh, yeah. So then
Make sure we're in the shot. Yeah.
okay, so let's pick a card.
Bam.
Yes. The nice thing about the cards is they're open to interpretation. This could be a dollhouse with a little girl. It could be a little village. It could be
A giant girl that's
it could be in front of a
terrorizing
bakery. It could be a giant girl terrorizing a bakery. I like that. Maybe we'll do a joint one again. So yeah, I'll take.
So about 4 or
We'll take 6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what?
Put it in there.
You know what? I'll take the camera.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was flying along with in an airplane when suddenly her airplane crashed in the middle of nowhere, and she landed into a miniature world where she, the 7-year-old girl, was a giant.
So she tried to find a place to sleep, but she couldn't find any because all the beds were too small.
Yes, and unfortunately, she went over to the beach and the island, but unfortunately she was 17 times the size of the island, and that wasn't going to work either.
So she tried to find some cake, but that was also too small. That just wasn't enough cake. The poor townspeople had to bake like tons and tons of cake.
But then she had an idea. She had an idea. She wrote down a letter, put it into the mail, and waited and waited and waited until it came back, a response.
Well, who did she write? She wrote the green monster who apparently can grant wishes. So the wish was to make her small so she can interact with the townspeople. So that's what he did.
But unfortunately, so she went so small that unfortunately she was so small that she was even smaller than the village. So what did she do? She came to a giant chest, but she couldn't open up the chest because she was only this big.
So the bird swooped in to save the day and help her open up the chest.
She was so appreciative. The chest was open, but she was still too small and could not get into the chest to see what was inside of it. Oh, this was frustrating.
But she wasn't too, mad to at least try and take some selfies.
But, so she finally decided. Then suddenly the little green guy came back and said, "What's the matter? What, don't you like your wish?" And she was so mad that she lit him on fire and said, "I'll live my life in smallness and leave me alone forever."
So she managed to try and find a car from the treasure chest and rode away.
The end.
The end.
You're good at this, Natasha. Man, we should have you work at the booth. You're good. She's very good. Yeah, she's really good. Man.